You know that person who never posts anything online? Maybe it's someone you know. Maybe it's you. While everyone else is uploading beach photos and food shots, they're just actually on the trip. And while it might look like they're missing out, there's a real chance they've understood something the rest of us haven't. The less you feel the need to prove your life online, the more real it starts to feel. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you posted on social media? Now think, when was the last time you almost posted but didn't? That pause, that tiny moment of hesitation says everything. Because somewhere between opening the camera and pressing share, your mind runs a quick checklist. Will people like this? Does this make me look impressive enough? Is my life interesting enough for 247 followers I barely speak to anymore? There's a sociologist named Irving Goffman who said we all wear masks to manage how others see us. And social media didn't create that idea. It just placed that mask on a stage with 1 billion spectators and a permanent replay button. One awkward post isn't just embarrassing. It lives forever. Anyone can scroll back and judge it whenever they want. So people who don't post, they're skipping the performance entirely. Research suggests roughly 30 to 40% of social media users are what scientists call lurkers, people who watch, scroll, but never share. The word sounds unsettling, like someone hiding in the dark. But a study published in Frontiers in Psychology revealed something important. When pressure to post mixes with fear of judgment, something inside us shuts down. Comparing yourself to others, worrying about privacy, and feeling pushed to share leads to anxiety and burnout. And those feelings push people into silence. In simple terms, your brain is trying to protect you. Think about it. Comparison isn't just useless, it's toxic. Everyone else shows highlight reels while you're stuck in an ordinary Tuesday afternoon. There's a concept in psychology called self-determination theory. It says people thrive when they feel in control of their own choices, free from external pressure. Social media works against that. It's a validation factory where your value gets counted in likes, views, and reactions. People who don't post aren't antisocial. They're guarding their sense of autonomy. They're quietly saying, my confidence doesn't need internet approval. Studies show that people who are more secure in themselves often feel no urge to broadcast their lives. Their self-worth isn't tied to comments or hearts. They scroll because they like staying informed or connected. But they stay quiet because boundaries matter to them. Think of someone you know who rarely posts. When you see them in real life, are they unhappy or isolated? Usually not. They're often doing well, sometimes better than most, because they're living, not documenting. Here's the trap most people miss. Even if you know social media is curated and fake, your brain still reacts. Psychologists have found that simply scrolling triggers comparison automatically. You see promotions, engagements, new homes, and even when you tell yourself it's staged, your subconscious doesn't care. It just registers. They have more than me. People who avoid posting step away from this constant mental hit. Not because they're fragile, but because they understand the game is stacked. Why enter a contest where everyone else controls the lighting, the edits, and the story? Then there's another interesting group. People who love YouTube but avoid Instagram or TikTok completely. They'll watch a 3-hour video essay but skip endless photo dumps. Why? Because YouTube doesn't demand performance. You can consume without pressure. No one tracks how often you like. No one questions why you haven't posted in months. You're just there, learning, laughing, existing. All the content, none of the anxiety. They found the loophole. There's more. People who stay off social media often have fewer friends, but much deeper ones. They'd rather have 5 people who truly know their life than 1,000 who tap a heart icon. And research consistently shows this. Meaningful relationships predict happiness far better than large networks. 10 honest conversations beat 1,000 reactions every time. But here's the part most people overlook. Not posting doesn't mean not caring. These people are often incredibly observant. They notice shifts in posting patterns, changes in tone, the stories people carefully build that feel slightly off. They're not disconnected. They're paying attention silently. They choose understanding over performance, Reflection over broadcasting, depth over noise. Psychologists describe two kinds of self-awareness. Public self-consciousness is worrying about how others perceive you. Private self-consciousness is being aware of your own thoughts, values, and emotions. People who don't post tend to lean into the second. Instead of asking, "How will this look?" they ask, "How does this feel?" That's not overthinking. That's emotional intelligence. When you're not constantly managing a public image, your mind has space to reflect, to question, to build an identity that doesn't rely on applause. And that creates something rare, a sense of self that exists without an audience. Here's what many people misunderstand. Choosing not to post isn't hiding. It isn't fear, it's control. It's saying, my private life is valuable enough to stay mine. It's realizing that some moments lose meaning when you perform them. That sunsets feel better when you don't photograph them. That conversations matter more when you're not drafting captions. That achievements feel richer when they're not immediately shared. Researchers have found that people who rarely post often show higher self-awareness and deeper reflection. They're less affected by emotional highs and lows tied to online approval. They're thinking long-term. And here's the real irony. The qualities that keep people away from social media, confidence, self-control, reflection, are the same things social media claims to offer. Connection, expression, community, platforms promised closeness. Instead, they built a performance economy where authenticity is rare. Silence feels suspicious, and constant posting is normal. The people who opt out aren't rejecting connection. They're rejecting the rules. They're choosing to connect on their own terms, in real life, without the show. So think about this. What if the people who don't post aren't missing out at all? What if they understood it first? What if choosing privacy over posts, depth over followers, and presence over performance isn't antisocial but the highest form of self-respect? Because when life ends, no one wishes they'd shared more updates. But plenty of people wish they'd lived more. The quiet ones aren't hiding. They're just living where the cameras can't follow. If this resonated with you, consider subscribing. And if you want to support more deep dives like this, hit the join button to become a channel member. I genuinely appreciate your support.